for everybody.
From Congress and courts to burgers and baseball.
I'm grossly discouraged, and I have given up on any justice in our system. It doesn't exist anymore.
Once again, here's lawyer and economist Maggie Daun.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Maggie Daun. You are listening to The Maggie Daun Show here on the Civic Media Radio Network. I've been looking forward to this conversation all week. My guest for the next half hour is Yuri Rashkin. He has been operating his own radio show, YouTube show. I don't know what to call these things anymore. We've got all these different platforms, Yuri, called the Rashkin Report. He has been focused on the Ukrainian regions of Crimea and Donbass. He has been spending a lot of time focusing and helping people understand what is actually going on the ground for people that live in those regions, some of the geopolitical context as well as the historical context. He is often sought out by Russian-speaking news outlets that are not controlled by the Kremlin. Yes, there's a few of them that do exist out there. So, Yuri, you're also a Rock County Board of Supervisors supervisor. So first, as someone that worked for Milwaukee County for a very long time and worked with supervisors, let me say thank you for your public service and serving your community in Rock County. And thank you for helping to bring really an insider's perspective to what is going on in both Crimea and Donbass and on a broader level in the Russia-Ukraine war. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to represent the 16th District of Rock County, downtown Beloit. Come on down. We have an amazing baseball team. We have the dining areas, just restaurants. My goodness, downtown Beloit, the place to be. And of course, Ukraine.
Yes, absolutely. Why did you start doing your show, the Rashkin Report? What caused you? You know, you've got plenty going on. You've lived here for a long time. You were born in Russia. Tell us, what was the catalyst to start sharing your perspectives in this way?
You know, I blame Wart because I was hosting a regular program on WORT, an amazing radio station that I think many of your listeners and viewers know in Madison. And my schedule changed at UW-Whitewater, and I had to spend more time teaching, which was great too. And I thought, you know, I really got that bug of hosting a show. And I decided to start a podcast. And I thought, well, maybe it would be interesting to talk about Russia in English. Turned out 3 people wanted to listen to that. I thought, okay, how about we do it in Russian? Because that is my first language. I don't speak it much anymore, except, you know, I'm also a court certified interpreter in Wisconsin and Illinois. So other than when I work, I really don't speak Russian. But it turned out to be an opportunity for people who wanted to come out. They were looking for a place to speak and a platform, because I am basically the only progressive liberal Russian-speaking voice in the United States broadcasting. There really is nobody else, because a vast majority of well over 90% of Russian speakers are Trump supporters. And so when you have people who are, you know, and I started right in 2016, so it was kind of gaining steam the more that Trump was becoming in vogue. Every time he became more powerful, more visible, the number of my subscribers went up because people were curious what's going on. What happened is when Russia launched its big invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, I started paying more attention to Ukraine and started to tell even more focused kind of my attention on informing Ukrainians about what's going on in America politically, because I love American politics, but there's nobody discussing it in Russian in any sort of a sensible way that's not like conspiracy minded, outside of a handful of people. So I ended up being invited to Ukrainian TV, Ukrainian YouTube channels to just explain what the heck is going on in America. Because they're being fed this one line, and then, you know, I don't know, Secretary Blinken shows up, or this, or the newspaper, but there's no context. And so I've been doing this for 3 years now, getting invited to these YouTube channels, basically, I think, sustaining Ukrainian economy with viewers and likes, and kind of ended up building my own channel in the process, and developed a following, and have close to, you know, I have 177,000 subscribers now on YouTube. And it's been very unexpected, and I'm glad that I have a kind of a niche to fill there by informing people about what's going on in America, especially since Voice of America is gone. So it's what an opportunity.
So we have incredible listeners on this network. These are people that are plugged in, that care deeply, and they come from all across the political spectrum, though more on the left. And one of those incredible listeners, Ali, who frequently reaches out, called during my last segment to say, will you please ask our new friend Yuri what it was like when the Trump administration announced that they would be defunding and shuttering Radio Free America and Voice of America. And when that was happening, I took some time on a couple of my shows to talk about how long those outlets have been around and the incredible importance of those outlets to resistance fighters in World War II, right? And then into the Cold War, how important those voices have been. And the fact that, again, as you pointed out, for a lot of Russian speakers, the outlets that they are getting information from are basically either explicitly, if we're talking about RT, Russia Today, Kremlin directed, or are very, there are a lot of what I would call risks for many folks that are trying to speak out in a more objective way. What was that like for you as you were born in Moscow, as someone that deeply cares about this region and Russian-American relations, as well as what's happening in Ukraine? You came here as a 13-year-old kid. This is your home. What was that like, knowing that information is the key to help people understand and hold their governments accountable, whether you are living in Vladivostok or Moscow or in Kyiv?
Maggie, people need information. And no matter what the society is, people want to know what's going on. And Voice of America was, if nothing else, was the voice of American government. This was the voice of what we want, not just as we have now a missive on Truth Social, but like consistent voice policy, flushing it out. Of course, when we don't have that, what would radio station talk about? But Fox News manages. But for me, this was very personal for a couple of reasons, because as a child, I grew up listening to these evil voices from the West, because I was always a very political kid, and I was looking to these, shortwave radios that we had, and I would listen to them at night. And I knew that, I listened to Voice of Vatican and Voice of everybody, because I was just information junkie back then. And to imagine that Voice of America is now missing from there, that hurts, because I know that as a child how important it was to me to form my understanding of what the world was like. And at the same time, I've, over the last few years, gathered considerable experience being a guest on Voice of America Russian speaking service. So I was kind of like the voice of, I don't know, not quite Democratic Party, but I had like when there was a debate or some political thing, they'd be like, okay, we need to have Yuri Rashkin from this side, and then, somebody else from the other side. And so this was, and of course, this was never any money. This was just an opportunity to reach people. And just to have this opportunity to just be the voice of, when President Biden speaks, and then that there's what we all think about it. So it was an amazing opportunity, and I'm really thankful for it. But it was difficult. It is difficult. We are missing it. There are some substitutes. There's a Radio Free Europe that continues to function, but I think it's mostly volunteer staffed. This has been a really tremendous assault on our media on all levels. And the more media depends on government subsidies, the more it got hurt when this administration came in.
A question. What parallels are you seeing between Donald Trump's approach, antagonism, sort of aggressive pursuit of censorship of media outlets, constantly assailing, various reporters as fake news and you're stupid, to the approach of Vladimir Putin to control the information that the citizens of Russia have access to?
There's a couple of things. I think, first of all, it's important part of what Donald Trump does and what Vladimir Putin wants to show it is that democracy is just a circus. There's nothing there, that serious people don't play these games. The last elections that Putin ran in, he didn't even come to the place where the debates took place because he didn't want to be a part of this clown show. Of course, in the United States, our president is the clown show. So it's a slight difference in approach. The other thing that I find fascinating is when people ask me about the shutdown in Ukraine and they say what's going on between Republicans and Democrats, and I explain to them that it's a kind of similar situation to what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and their ability and inability to sit down and have negotiations, because both sides feel like they're doing pretty well and they can't surrender, and this would be worse to surrender, and so they continue to fight, thinking that the luck could, its chances are in their favor are pretty good. And so I think that there's some interesting battle lines and similarities that one can find when looking at both of these situations. But the dreadful thing is that with the last administration, insufficiently as that help may have been, and that was part of the problem, because a lot of people were very critical of the Biden approach and Jake Sullivan approach, saying, oh, we're so afraid of Putin because he might escalate. Oh no, we're not going to let Ukraine have more weapons or shoot further or anything. We're going to restrict them, and so they don't lose. And then what happens? Then Donald Trump comes to power, and then we have a totally different approach, obviously. The big moment for Ukrainians, honestly, they really believed in Donald Trump, that he was going to come and be different than Biden and have like a different approach that's going to actually fix things and because he demonstrates strength. He was, they thought he's going to
play exit, at least,
right.
Yes.
Is when this big argument went down with Zelensky in February in White House. I had a stream after that got like 1 million views because everyone was like, what is going on? And after that, trust was broken. After that, you can talk about different things, but people just kind of feel like we don't, we hope that this time he's telling the truth, but we're kind of learning. And this whole 2-week business, Ukrainians are not buying it.
Yeah. Folks, we are with Yuri Rashkin. He hosts a podcast called The Rashkin Report on YouTube. He has been featured across numerous Russian-speaking media outlets that are not Kremlin-controlled. Very, very important. He was born in Moscow, came to the United States as 13. At the age of 13, he is currently a Rock County supervisor. He has taught classes at UW Rock County and UW Parkside. He works as a Russian interpreter. He also plays the upright bass and piano. We may get to that as a violinist myself. We've got tons of questions. If you've got questions or comments for Yuri, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. One of the things that has happened most recently was this private meeting, unlike the clown show that happened a few weeks ago, between the White House and Volodymyr Zelensky. Reports are that devolved again into a shouting match with President Trump swearing throughout the meeting. I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about Tomahawk missiles and Donald Trump's flip-flop on that when we come back. And what actually is at stake, not just for the United States, but for Ukrainians and Russians alike. Don't go anywhere. This important conversation continues on the other side. Join us with your questions or comments. 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. You're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're muted, Maggie.
Thank you, Jacob. This is great, Yuri. How is this going on your end? I really enjoy talking with you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's fantastic. It's fun. I actually started out as a violin player, but then
hi, friend.
Right. But then moved up to bass, and honestly, I prefer the lower frequencies. It's a personal thing.
So it's super funny that you mentioned that. My dream instrument that I always wanted to play was upright bass. Always wanted to do it. Did it a few times at jazz camp, but never got around to fully committing. In large part until about 17, 18, I thought I might try to be a professional violinist. So it was really if I had time to practice, that's what I was going to be doing. But but I love the upright bass. It is the heart of the orchestra. People don't know what they're actually watching. You know, it's the heart. If you're playing an electric bass, it's the heart of every band. Like without it, stuff doesn't work. So, you got my respect on that one for sure.
Absolutely. We're the glue.
Absolutely, yes. So I have just a wee bit of sound. I've got some of Trump talking about the tomahawks. So we'll start with the meeting itself. We'll move on to the importance of tomahawks and then the bigger picture question.
Sounds great.
Thank you. We are back live in about 40 seconds. So if you need a sip of water, what have you, now is a great time to do that.
Fifteen seconds.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Maggie Daun. You are listening to the Maggie Daun Show here on the Civic Media Radio Network. We are talking this half hour with Yuri Rashkin. He hosts the Rashkin Report on YouTube. You should check it out. I know I'll be tuning in, Yuri, to hear your takes on all things Russian-American relations, as well as the Ukraine-Russia conflict, which is dragging on and dragging on and dragging on and appears to have no end in sight. We all watched almost in real time as Donald Trump and J.D. Vance effectively ambushed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the White House a few months back. What we didn't get to watch in real time was the most recent meeting that happened on Friday, October 17th. This one was behind closed doors. Donald Trump was in that room, Steve Witkoff, a number of negotiators, as well as Ukrainian Volodymyr Zelensky. It devolved into a shouting match at times. This one was just in private. Apparently, Donald Trump was cursing up a storm. I remain utterly perplexed by the Trump administration's seeming inability to get their head around one fundamental concept, and that is that you cannot trust what Vladimir Putin will tell you. And the only thing that Vladimir Putin understands in terms of trying to create negotiating leverage is strength. It's power. It would be the support of Ukraine in a very meaningful, clear, and sustained way. That is what is going to bring this conflict to an end. Instead, we literally rolled out the red carpet for the man in Alaska, flyovers, the whole nine. That's a huge win for Putin, right? I get the pomp and circumstance and the red carpet treatment on American soil. Why is it that you think that Republicans, the MAGA movement in this country, do not understand that specifically America's long-term security interest means that we are effectively able to support nations that face existential, imminent, and ongoing threats that are aligned with us from Vladimir Putin? I mean, Ukraine's in that space, but if you look at that region, there are other countries that are clearly very nervous about what is going on in Ukraine. Why can't this fundamental kernel of truth? Putin respects shows of strength and nothing less.
Because we see demonstration of that where Republicans are showing weakness because they can't show strength. I'm so glad that you brought up this point, because for years, even though I've always considered myself a Democrat, though a position that I'm is a nonpartisan, but those are my preferences, I always found an easy time speaking with Republicans, because when the topic came to national defense, it would
Yes.
be like, we all understand that Russia is a threat. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Right. Okay, awesome. So we're on the same page and we understand. And now we see a president who is showing weakness to Vladimir Putin, who is demonstrating that he can't control him, who is acting in a subservient manner to him, and while disrespecting American troops in every possible way. So it's a combination of things that should really make Republicans mad, but it really has been such a proof of hypocrisy of so much that we hear from that side, because this is a real danger. But similarly to Reagan, who, on one hand, when I think about his internal politics, I have a lot of questions, obviously, and I feel that part of the crisis where we are now started with Ronald Reagan. But at
Clearly
the same
did.
time, right. But at the same time, I have deep appreciation, because it was in 1988 during his presidency that I and my family were able to come to the United States as refugees, as legal refugees, and to become, a citizen that I am now, and grateful to this country for everything it has given me. And I'm grateful to Ronald Reagan. But
Mr.
this
Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I mean, right?
right. But
Reagan was probably the pinnacle of Republican hawkishness and understanding the existential threat that the then Soviet Union, now Russia, presented to American security, both in the medium and long term. Americans, and I think the MAGA movement to an extent, this sort of nouveau version of isolationism, but not, we'll cut a $40 billion check to Argentina. That's fine. That there's this, I feel like people have this false sense of security that has been fostered by years of our domestic discussion in politics, not having people, candidates especially, able to speak very clearly to why it matters to someone in Iowa or Wisconsin or Ohio what might be happening in Kyiv or Crimea or Donbass. I think it was made worse by the fact that Obama drew a bright line and then didn't follow up to enforce the bright line. But I want to just zoom out. Why is this moment, frankly, a tipping point? At least I think it is. If you think it is as well, either Russia will be pushed back and rebuffed, in my opinion, ultimately, through a much stronger support of Ukraine, including Tomahawk missiles, or Russia will be emboldened, and this is not the last territorial grab that we will see executed by Vladimir Putin. Why should people care about this in the United States, Yuri?
Because right now, Ukraine is fighting for our democratic ideals. Democracy is in real peril in the United States, and it really is going to be falling apart if Ukraine falters. Right now, so much European defense, European democracy's existence, in a way, now it depends on Ukraine's survival. And that's just an incredible position to be in versus where we were almost 4 years ago.
Folks, we're going to have to leave it there. Yuri, will you come back very soon to talk about this? Maybe we'll do a longer form discussion, get more of our listeners going. We got Kurt from Madison and Richard on the lines. I'm sorry, gentlemen, that I could not get to your questions. We will take them off the air. Yuri, I will send them to you. We will be in touch. We will share this information. We'll get you set up again to come join us here on this program.
Check
Folks,
out my Substack Rashkin report.
Rashkin Report on Substack and YouTube. Check it out when we come back. It's the Friday edition of Ask Maggie. Halloween version, not the Hollywood version. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, Yuri. And I have a question for you before you
Sure.
exit. Do you know someone that knows my family?
I think so. Sarah French?
Yes, I think so too. My mom, like about 2 months ago, was like, "Hey, one of the cousins and the person," and it was like I was trying to play. My mom's the genealogist, but I think you might know someone who knows my family.
I believe I was speaking to them at the protest.
Yes. Well, it is really lovely to see you. And I don't want to speak for my senior producer who basically pulls my strings at the end of the day, but I would love to have you join us if your schedule can bear it and you enjoy it, to come join us on a more regular basis. I think your perspective is incredibly important.
I'd love to.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Maybe we'll do kind of like the next one, some of the historical setup behind these things.
Absolutely. You lead the way. You have great questions.
Wonderful. Well, I can't wait to do this again, Yuri. Thank you so very much. All my best to you. Keep up the great work. We'll be in touch to set up another interview.
Sounds good. Take care, Maggie.
Take care. Jacob, if you could get questions from Kurt and Richard, I will pass those along to Yuri. If you can message those to Jamie and I, that would be great. Hey, Richard, can you hear me?
Thirty seconds.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash.
He did the mash. What's up, everybody, and happy Halloween. I'm Maggie Daun. You are listening to the Maggie Daun Show here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Do you possibly have trick-or-treaters running around your neighborhood? We certainly do, here broadcasting to you from WAUK 540 AM 100.3 FM. And I've got my senior producer, Jamie Martinson, with me for this Friday special Halloween edition of Ask Maggie. How you doing, Jamie? And happy Halloween.
I'm fantastic. Happy Halloween to you as well. I'm looking at the stream setup right now. Thank you, Jacob, for making things so festive if you're watching on the Facebook of Faces, YouTube, X.
And the gram,
all
I
of
think?
the platforms. Yes, all of those. If you're watching on all of those, you see a lot of festivity happening. We do, in fact, have a lot of trick-or-treaters. We live in that neighborhood. Like the neighborhood, right? Where everywhere you go, there's a sidewalk, houses are close by.
Yep.
So I've got doors shut and things, but I'm not going to guarantee you're not going to hear the dog give a little bit of a roo because she's part beagle, so she's got that weird aroo bark. And
Yes.
I'm listening to the squeals out on the sidewalk by the big picture window by my office right now.
so
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, my folks, they live in a really cottage little Milwaukee neighborhood burg and they have, there's a huge almost like haunted housey thing contest that goes on between all the
Sure.
neighbors and a big bonfire in this little triangle park, and they trick or treat at night. We did it on like a Sunday in the middle of the day, and it wasn't all that cool. It was just bang on the door. You were going for volume, not experience
Sure.
quality. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I get it. That was the weird part growing up. I didn't really love Halloween. Like, I was usually pretty done after 3 or 4 houses. I was kind of like, okay, this is weird. Why am I begging for candy? Even as a really little kid, it just sat weird with me. But, you go
Well,
through all
plus
the
you and
fun.
I are of the age where somebody,
Yes.
some jerk somewhere started putting pins and candy,
Oh,
and there was
yeah.
all the.
Yeah.
You had to take it somewhere to get your
Razor
candy
blades.
scanned. I mean,
Yeah.
what in the hell is wrong with
It
people?
wasn't. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. Hey, before we get into the questions, though, which are going to be all Halloween themed, by the way, today. I mean, there
Nice.
is a theme here. So if you're listening, as we mentioned online, and you hear the show behind the show, I have to ask, you actually went to band camp, huh? I learned that in the last segment.
Jazz camp. Jazz camp. It's a little bit different, and because it was
Okay.
it was very mixed instrumentality, so it wasn't
Sure.
just straight up band camp. But I think it counts. It's possible that the like violin string orchestra / jazz camp / music theory camp might actually be higher on the dorky meter than just straight up band camp. It might be. And
I
to
was a
all
huge
of
fan
my
of American Pie, the
Oh
movies,
yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yes. To all anybody who might be listening from the Neenah Menasha Oshkosh regions, from the southeastern Wisconsin Milwaukee region, from the State Youth Orchestra, from the Music Makers, anybody who was at Onaway, and if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It was idyllic, and who was at orchestra camp with me and Sterling Strings camps. I love you. Thank you for making that an amazing part of my summers. It was cool because I was there, and then I do like basketball camp. Right?
Sure.
You know,
All in
gotta
one.
paint both ends of the spectrum. You know,
Right.
Good times. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Would it surprise you to learn that I went to writing camp and journalism camps?
No, that I would have loved to do that too, but I was just those were the two camps that I did. It was usually hoops and then the music, but I
Yeah.
would have jammed out. I think one year I did like a science camp, learned how to make something
fun.
fly. That was pretty cool.
Those are
Again,
fun.
very nerdy.
Yeah,
Very nerdy
yeah.
things.
Yeah, no, that was same way. If there was a book involved or I got to read something, I was down for it, and all you had to do was tell me that that's what we were doing for the entire time, and I was good. I was totally good. No, we do have some really good Halloween themed questions. Why we run down our childhood rabbit hole here.
Yes.
And I want to start with this one because I love this one. It comes to us from Janet, who listens in the Minocqua area, and she wants to know, Maggie, what was your favorite Halloween candy to get in your pail? And she says pail because that's what her kids used. You know, the orange one that looked like a little jack-o'-lantern that you carried around, little black
Yes.
plastic handle. Again, right era. We all grew up with those. So we're going to give you, we'll give you 60 seconds because, you know, I know you're kind of a foodie. So I'm going to imagine that there
Kind of a
might
foodie,
be a
yes.
few extras besides just one favorite. So Jacob, 60 seconds when you're ready.
So this is generationally specific. I love me some Now and Laters. Those were a big deal when I was growing up. We used to go to the gas station and get them. So when you get the shorty ones during Halloween, those were great. I have always loved a Snickers bar. If you're going to give me any chocolate, sort of regular dime store candy, give me the Snickers. I especially like a good frozen Snickers bar. I've always had to resist the urge when I go to the grocery store. On occasion, you'll see the ice cream Snickers bar in the novelties section of the grocery store, and I'm like, I don't buy the ice cream Snickers bar. But those were my top two. Eventually, Skittles. Very big fan of some Skittles. Again, candy was not a huge thing for me. My mom was a really good baker, so there was always fun homemade treats galore around. And my best friend who lived across the street, what's up, Gretchen? Her mom legit made batches of cookies like every couple of days. She was one of the first moms that got that KitchenAid stand mixer.
Sure. Yeah.
Which the pain in the butt for the cookies is the mixing part. It's not
Right?
the
Heavy
recipe.
batter.
Yep. And so there were a lot of cookies that got ate. A lot of cookies.
I was the same way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom with me. So she was involved in everything and she was incredible and she made everything all the time. I remember pies were her nemesis, right? Like she could never do a good pie crust. So then once she figured it out from my great-great aunt, I'd come home every day from school and there'd be a new pie in the refrigerator. And to the point where my dad literally had to say to her, you got to stop. Like you literally have to stop with the pies. We've gained like 20 pounds in a month. You have to stop. But I can echo some of that. Like Snickers, yes. Have you tried? I also love a good Milky Way. But here's the caveat to that. They didn't have them when I was growing up, but the dark chocolate Snickers, or Milky Ways, I should say. I'm getting so excited. I can't even get the words out. I love candy so much. One of the best. Like absolutely delicious.
Anything I can get now in dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's the boss. Right now, if I can get like dark chocolate covered toffee, right? Like Score bars, but those aren't
good.
dark chocolate. But like that is
Yeah.
kind of the jam for me
Yeah.
right now in my middle-aged palate.
Did you have I have to ask though, did you have a least favorite candy? You know, like the one where you would cringe when you'd see it go in your little bucket and you'd be like, oh, my mom
Almond
tells me I
Joy
have
and
to be nice.
Mounds.
See, I love a good Mounds. Not the Almond Joy so much, but I love a good Mounds. I like coconut.
I don't mind coconut, but that was just not. And I also like a Three Musketeers is literally getting thrown back.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't like nougat. Nougat's weird. It's just fluffy.
What is
in the middle.
nougat? Is there an agreed upon definition of nougat? And
See,
is it nougat or nougat?
And now it
And
reminds
does
me
Ted
of Ted
Nugent
Nugent.
have some sort of weird patent
I know.
copyright? I don't
very-
know.
It's very, very strange. No, I'm right there with you. For me, it was anything like the little hard disc candies, you know, like the butterscotches that my grandma would force upon me, the cinnamon discs, or even, because again,
Do you
certain
like a root
age-
beer barrel though?
No, not really.
See, I will. I love a good root beer barrel.
Oh, and like the circus peanuts, what are those? Those shouldn't
No
be
one
a
knows
thing.
what those are. Those are
They
not
shouldn't be a
good.
thing.
I
And
also
honestly-
hate Peeps. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
they're
why
awful.
people like. What is the obsession with Peeps?
They're awful.
Those are
And
disgusting.
if you give kids any of those things, even now in this day and age, you probably deserve a toilet papered house or an egg to go signing. I'm just
you
I'm
give
just
them the
saying.
the
That's
crappy
right.
candy.
That's right. That's like giving out a toothbrush on Halloween. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that
Not
at
so
all.
much. This one neighbor, her name was Ann Luddington. She was in her 90s when I was a kid. She was lovely. And she would literally, she'd have like her bowl of change. So you'd get like a handful of her change and candy. It was such a twofer. Miss Ann Luddington, Miss Luddington, I love you. R.I.P. She was amazing. She used to babysit for me
That's
when I was a
awesome.
kid.
That's awesome.
So amazing.
We have somebody over on social media asking us if we've ever tried Divinity. And yes, I've tried Divinity a few times. I don't dislike Divinity.
Is that
Not my
really
absolute-
crunchy, like angel food dipped in
Yes.
chocolate?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
It is weird. I've got a very particular palate. And let me tell you, you put basically anything in front of me and I'm going to eat it. But I have a very particular palate, especially when it comes to my candies and my sweets. I mean, let's be realistic. This is what I
Divinity,
live
gosh,
on.
that is a blast from the like I haven't seen Divinity in a long time.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
probably feeling like I was about to like pop a filling out or like chip a tooth with the Divinity. I mean, that stuff is like rock
We're
hard.
getting question marks over on social media, so maybe we're not in the right vein. So if anybody can tell us what divinity is, because we obviously have no idea, please do. You can
Really?
text us.
That's not what I
I
would have
don't- I guess not.
sworn.
I guess not. Over on our text line, Scott says that back to the camp conversation. Some of us went to swing choir camp in our youth.
Oh, that
yeah.
sounds groovy.
I know that sounds kind of fun. I was not talented enough to sing and or dance or do both at the same time. So that would not debate camp is where I spent a lot of
Debate
my
camp.
summers. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
Divinity is the white stuff that's made with sugar, corn syrup, and water boiled together, a pinch of salt. Sometimes they
Okay,
put nuts
okay.
on top of it. I
So
think
soft
it's
and puffy.
chewy. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go find me some Divinity because I clearly
Yeah.
don't know what
I guess
what the
not.
hell that is.
We
Swing
learned something
camp.
today.
Yeah, I would imagine there was a lot of like very jaunty hat wear and scarf
yeah.
wear at
Vests.
swing singer band
Swing choir,
camp,
yeah.
swing
But
choir
yeah,
camp. Yes,
Yeah. I'm going to say a lot of vests, a lot of maybe glitter.
a lot of
too.
vests, maybe a
Sequins?
cummerbund or two.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of very talented friends who spent a lot of time in high school in swing choir, and they were amazing.
Before
They-
Anna Kendrick made it super
Yes,
popular.
They won a lot of awards. They were super cool, super talented, and I just don't have that kind of talent. I just don't. No, we have another question we have to get
Let's
to
get it in.
here
Let's
today.
get it.
All right, this comes to us from Sarah in North Freedom, and she wants to know, when it comes to handing out Halloween candy, Maggie, do you prefer a fun size, regular size, or the king size? We'll give her 30 seconds for this one, Jacob, when you're ready.
I go fun size, but like the best possible candy. Meaning, like, you're going to get good stuff. I'm not going to buy the discount stuff, but I'm going to go fun size. You know, it's the egalitarianism from me that I'm like, I want to spread the wealth, but you're going to get the good stuff. No cheaping out on the candy, always the good stuff. The unfortunate thing is, while I am moving, right now I don't live in a place where we get many trick-or-treaters, but I am looking forward to my new neighborhood next Halloween because there will be lots of trick-or-treaters, and I'm super, super excited about that.
Costco, big bags, pounds of them. That's what we've had to do in a few of our neighborhoods, including the one we're currently in. Just saying.
Pounds of candy.
Tons of candy.
Folks, if you want to get a question in for our Friday Ask Maggie segments, we get to 1 or 2 a week. Jamie curates all of them. You can send those in at askmaggie@civicmedia.us. Again, you got questions, we got answers, or at least some fun banter about it. Ask Maggie@civicmedia.us. You can always zip them in on the text line as well. Coming up, we got Terry Barr for what's good, local, and overlooked in Wisconsin as we close out this Friday Halloween edition of the Maggie Dawn Show here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay tuned. Thanks, Jamie. That was fun. A little levity. Hi, Terry.
There.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you? I'm worried too about the doorbell ringing.
Oh, don't be. We're just all human beings doing
Yeah,
our human being thing.
I know, the kiddos are out. My husband's not home yet, so I just
Oh,
kind of
that's
left
all
the
right.
candy on the porch, which is
Hopefully,
sort of weird.
hopefully there'll be some left when you get done.
Right? Oh, good grief.
I was the kid that would scold other kids for taking handfuls out of the unattended buckets of candy.
Oh, I
That's
would
not
have liked
fair.
you.
Don't do that. Other kids deserve treats too.
I know. Don't take it all. Come on.
Right.
Oh, funny. So where are you moving? I heard you say you're moving.
Yes, still in Milwaukee. And in
Nice.
fact, less than a 10-minute drive from where I currently live. So,
Oh, good for you, though.
yes, I'm really excited about it. And it's a completely fenced in backyard. So I think Finny's going to lose her mind.
Oh, yes.
Lose her mind. How was your vacation?
Oh, I only had that one day.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah, because we went to St. Olaf in
Oh,
Minnesota.
yes. Yes.
My goddaughter goes to college there, and I had not had a chance to visit her at college last year. She's a sophomore.
Oh,
So her mom asked me if I wanted to go along with her, and of course I did.
how
And
cool.
oh my God, it was just so much fun to be back on a college campus.
Yeah.
And she's a music major, anthropology double major. But she does a radio show on Sunday mornings, so
No
she had
kidding.
her mom and I on her radio show.
Oh, how cute. That's
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just going to say, that is something I would not have been doing as a sophomore in college, is committing to Sunday morning obligations, least of which would have been a radio show.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
impressed. That's
I
awesome.
know. Yes. She is studying abroad next semester in Scotland.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, one of the
Well, that's an
oldest
excuse to go,
colleges in
Terry.
the world.
Yeah.
So
Which
I'm
one?
so excited for her.
Which university is it in
I knew you were
Scotland?
going to ask me that, and I don't recall the name,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'll let
that's
you
all right.
know when I
Yeah,
find
please.
out.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You have piqued my curiosity.
Ooh,
We are live in
Okay.
30.
awesome.
Another week in the books.
Yeah, and thanks for asking. That was very kind of you.
Of course, my friend, of course. It's Friday. We always need something good by the end of the week. And so we are here again, friends. My name is Maggie Daun. You're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network. I'm joined on Fridays in this very time slot by my good friend and civic colleague, Terry Barr, for What's Good, Local, and Overlooked in Wisconsin. Welcome back, Terry.
Hi there, Maggie, and hello to all the listeners and the viewers. And how about if we talk about pumpkins since, it is fall and Halloween?
I love a good pumpkin discussion. Lay it on
Okay.
me, Terry.
Here we go. So you're seeing pumpkins for sale everywhere or on people's porches, all decorated. But here's something I recently learned about that I did not know. So I'm excited to share this with you. Wisconsin is home to some of the most giant pumpkin growers. And these folks are setting records, not just in Wisconsin, but across the country and the world. I talked to one of these growers from Markesan, and his name is Mike Schmidt. And here is what he tells me about why this is such a big deal.
We're really like a social club that all enjoy the hobby of growing giant pumpkins and teaching people about growing giant pumpkins.
Has this year been a good year for giant pumpkins?
Yeah, like the biggest pumpkin grown in the state this year was 2,491 pounds. That's a little shy of the state record. The state record is 2,551. So anytime you get close to the state record, one can assume that the year was pretty good. The big factor is the amount of care that goes into these pumpkins. I always told people, like when I first started out, like each pumpkin that I grew, and I started out growing 3 pumpkins, at peak time was taking me 10 hours a week. So I could be putting in 30 hours a week to grow 3 pumpkins. Now I'm a little better, a little more efficient on that. It's probably closer to 6-7 hours per pumpkin per week. And that's at like a really competitive level. Like, if you didn't want to do that, you didn't have to do that, but you might not be able to expect as big a result. So yeah, a lot of it's just the care and effort and that goes into it.
What is he
Isn't that
doing?
awesome? 2,500 pounds.
What? What occupies one's time? Are you talking to the pumpkin? Are you massaging the pumpkin vines, fertilizing, watering? What,
All
6
of
to
it.
7 hours per pumpkin?
I know. And it paid off for Mike. He did win the very first year he entered one of the competitions. He won as like the novice grower of the year.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. And he does give the seeds from his pumpkins away so other people can grow these big pumpkins, and he'll talk you through it. But right now, there are at least 200 growers in Wisconsin that are really into this and are part of this giant pumpkin growers group. There's a group. And, they say that it's just really, really fun. And I think what Mike described as, like you were saying, do they sit and talk to the pumpkin kind of like a plant?
Right.
Mike said on the really good growing days, these pumpkins can put on 50 pounds a day, and you can actually sit and watch it as it grows. This just blows my mind, but it
That
sounds like
is
it's
kind
so
of mind-boggling. But
Yeah.
my neighbor's got a puppy that's going to be an enormous dog, and I thought I could literally almost watch the puppy growing as it walked down the block. But watching a vegetable grow in
Yes.
real time sounds pretty trippy. They need, you know how they do, Alaska does like the big fat bear contest cam
Yes,
where they see which
yes.
one like packs on the most poundage each.
Mhm.
They should do some like live stream. It's the pumpkin cam, and we can watch the pumpkin grow. Listen, you throw a little what's it called, like ASMDR, or the maybe the sound of the pumpkin growing, and I'm sure there's
Like
an audience for
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Oh, people would, I think, love it. Such a great distraction too. Mike said he would come home from work and take a cocktail and just go sit out by the pumpkin.
Go connect. Put in some
Yeah.
quality time with your
Well,
with your
he did put a lot
ginormous
of time
pumpkin.
in. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
See the
Well, you
things you don't know.
Yeah, things we obviously need to know about
Yes.
pumpkins that grow 50 pounds in a day. My head is just, that's 2 pounds an hour.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know
Uh,
it is. And they don't waste the pumpkin
oh,
either.
good.
They carve it for Halloween. He once had a 1,000-pound pumpkin on his front porch, which he said was a total blast because everybody was kind of like, "What?" That was
What
the
even
first time he did
is
that.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then again, giving away the seeds and also using it as animal feed because there are a lot of animals that actually enjoy eating a pumpkin.
Including little doggies. Little doggies love some pureed pumpkin. It's very good for their digestive system. I know my little Finny loves her some pumpkin. It's quite the treat for her. All of this has made me think of and I think I'm going to do this now. You've inspired me, Terry. One of my absolute favorite things to make every fall is butternut squash soup.
Oh, I
But I
love it.
always use my pumpkin seeds to make pepitas, and I spice the heck out of them, like think cayenne.
Ah,
Lots of like Himalayan, like big salt,
yeah.
big grain salt, and then some cayenne toasted up to make the toasted pepitas. And then I put that on top of the butternut squash
Oh,
soup.
that sounds perfect.
Right, with a
Yeah.
little bit of like creme fraiche and some chives. And I'm going to tell everybody this is the secret ingredient for all of your fall chilies, especially red tomato-based chilies, as well as your squash soups. This is the ingredient, and just a dab will do you. Just a little pinch of this, and it is ground clove.
No kidding.
It adds like this
Mm.
wonderful depth of flavor and people will be like, what is this? Tastes different. And just don't tell anybody. And if you do, tell them you heard it here on the Maggie Dawn Show with Terry Barr here every Friday for what's good, local, and overlooked in Wisconsin.
it.
Happy Halloween, Terry. Have a great weekend.
You too, and everyone listening as well to you.
Folks, that's going to do it for us. Pete Schwab is up next. Remember, I'll stand up for you. I hope you stand up for me, but it is always better when we stand together. Have a safe Halloween.